Heavy D, a famous hip-hop artist around the world, died in 2011. Diddy, Jay-Z, Usher, and Will Smith were among the famous people who came to his funeral, but there was a strange feeling of nothingness in the solemn air. At the Giants Memorial, almost none of the stars of Living Single, the famous black sitcom from the 1990s, were there. She was the only one who showed up. At that time, people everywhere asked the question, when a cultural hero was being buried, where were the rest of the cast? Was it just a happy accident? Or did it come from unresolved problems and anger that were never shared with the public? The fight for attention, unfair pay, T.C. Carson's angry departure from the show, and the pain of Hollywood stealing an idea to make friends. Living Alone was supposed to be fun, but it turned out to be a terrible war. When people laughed on TV, it was only to cover up wounds that never got better. Then, all of those wounds were accidentally opened again at Heavy D's burial. Heavy D is the gentle giant of hip-hop. Born in 1967 in Mandeville, Jamaica, Dwight Arrington Myers, who became known as Heavy D, had an amazing trip. He went from being an immigrant boy to a hip-hop star. When young Dwight's family moved to Mount Vernon, New York, he quickly got used to the busy streets and pursued his love of music. Heavy D got his start in show business with the band Heavy D and the Boys. His start in the music business was made possible by their 1987 album Living Large. With his loose style, friendly smile, and plus-size body, he surprised and charmed everyone who saw him. People loved calling him the Gentle Giant, not just because of how he looked, but also because he was one of the few truly kind and honest people in the entertainment business. Heavy D stayed the same for more than 10 years. From big hits like Mr. Big Stuff in 987 to Big Daddy in 1997, Heavy D showed how durable and versatile he was, unlike many singers who came and went quickly. In spite of his fame, Heavy D kept a low profile. Heavy D was the first person to bring Queen Latifah on stage when she was only 18. Will Smith also said that Heavy D helped him and Jazzy Jeff get in touch with people in the rap world. Along with being a stage star, his kindness and charity made him a beloved figure among his friends. Heavy D was close with Queen Latifah and also knew a lot about being single. He was the flashy boyfriend of Daryl Regine. As a guest star, he brought his musical spirit to the show, making him part of the group and the show's lifeblood. Living Single is a black rom-com. Those events shaped an age. When Fox first showed Living Single in 1993, it was the first time that black viewers saw a sitcom about their own lives. Brooklyn's young adults are smart, driven, and full of dreams. 6 major characters became well-known very quickly. Hi, Khadijah James, the tough reporter played by Queen Latifah Sinclair and the sweet, innocent cousin in the show. Regine is a stylish woman who is always looking for new things. Maxine, the smart and sharp-tongued lawyer. Overton, the helpful and kind handyman. Kyle is the smooth-talking trader in Money. Living Single was a groundbreaking black sitcom that paved the way for other diverse TV shows that came after. Heavy D's part as Daryl in Living Single may have been a guest role, but it made an impact that will last. He first showed up in Season 2, Episode 12 of Thanks for Giving, which was a special Thanksgiving episode. While sitting at the dinner table with the Brooklyn friends, Daryl spoke out of the blue and said a short but powerful prayer, Thanksgiving. We always say thank you. I'd like to say thank you for giving, because giving us something to think about. That getting doesn't. It helps us see things clearly about ourselves. So thank you. There was silence in the room. It wasn't a long lecture, but a warm, honest moment. Tension. And so when Heavy D Latifah's close friend, who had also appeared on Living Single, passed away, Kim Fields was completely absent. That absence could not go unnoticed. Many fans, Fields' absence seemed like an exclamation mark, confirming the rumors the relationship between Latifah and Fields was never truly mended. On screen, Khadijah and Regine were inseparable best friends. But in real life, Latifah's towering presence unintentionally dimmed Fields, the once radiant child star. Heavy D's funeral, instead of being a chance to reunite, only made the cracks of the past more visible. If Kim Fields' absence fueled suspicion of a surface-level friendship with Queen Latifah, there was still another void at Grace Baptist Church that raised just as much curiosity. Kim Coles, the comedian, and her silent resentment on screen. Sinclair James was the bright soul of Living Single with her innocent personality, kind heart, and charming delivery. Kim Coles turned the character into a laugh machine beloved by fans everywhere. But behind that sweet image, Coles carried quiet discontent. Rumors from behind the scenes suggested that Coles often felt overshadowed by Queen Latifah's enormous presence. Latifah was the media's center, the face on the posters, the name always mentioned first. Meanwhile, Coles, though adored by fans, rarely received the same recognition from the press or from Fox as a key star. The issue grew worse when salary disparities came into play. According to multiple sources, the cast did not receive equal pay, and Coles was among those shortchanged. Though she never publicly criticized, anyone's subtle remarks in later interviews led fans to believe she had gone through a period of quiet frustration. Some colleagues revealed that Kim Coles sometimes felt not properly respected and treated like a supporting character in the very sitcom she had helped make a success. Latifah's shadow was simply too large, too powerful, leaving Coles struggling to find her own space, even though Sinclair was one of the show's most memorable characters. That's why Coles's absence at Heavy D's funeral wasn't seen by many as just a scheduling issue. For fans, it felt like a silent message. The distance between Coles and the living single family had stretched too far to the point it could no longer be repaired. On screen, Sinclair was the innocent glue binding the group together. Off-screen resentment, feelings of neglect, and imbalances of power had built an invisible wall. And at Heavy D's funeral, that wall became more visible than ever. Erika Alexander, the outsider, and the shock called friends. If Latifah's Khadijah was the leader and Coles's Sinclair was the comic relief, then Maxine Shaw, the sharp-tongued lawyer played by Erika Alexander, was the secret weapon that made Living Single a phenomenon. Maxine was smart, sarcastic, independent, and unafraid to say what others wouldn't. Audiences loved her boldness, while critics praised Maxine as one of the strongest, most modern female characters of the 90s. Yet the irony was that while Maxine was iconic on screen behind the scenes, Erika Alexander became the outsider. In many interviews, Alexander never hesitated to reveal the truth. Fox treated Living Single as a second-class show. She once bitterly said, "We were Fox's #1 series for 4 seasons, but we never saw ourselves on a single big billboard in Hollywood." Meanwhile, white sitcoms of the same era were promoted everywhere with posters, media campaigns, and full corporate backing. Then came 1994, just 1 year after Living Single premiered, NBC launched Friends. 6 young people, 1 apartment, stories of love, friendship, and careers, a formula eerily familiar. The difference, the cast was entirely white. Friends was given millions in marketing, becoming a global cultural phenomenon. While Living Single, the pioneer, was pushed down to a historical footnote, Alexander later recalled in a podcast, "When Friends came out, we knew they took our idea, changed the color of the skin, and turned it into Friends. That's it." Queen Latifah put it more gently, but couldn't hide the sting. "If Living Single had been promoted the way Friends was, we would have rewritten television history." Yvette Lee Bowser, creator of Living Single, revealed that NBC knew the power of a black sitcom, but wanted a cleaner, easier-to-swallow version for white audiences. That's how Friends was born. Even David Schwimmer Ross in Friends admitted NBC had discussed diversifying the cast, but ultimately decided to keep it all white, believing that formula would be more profitable. Friends wasn't just a sitcom, it was a cultural earthquake. Across 10 seasons and 236 episodes from 1994 to 2004, it averaged 25 million viewers per episode. Its peak, the episode The One, after the Super Bowl, drew 52.9 million viewers, numbers usually reserved for major sports events. From there, Friends became a golden goose, generating over $1 billion annually, even decades after its finale. Cast members Jennifer Aniston, Courtney Cox, and Matthew Perry ascended to A-list status, eventually earning $1 million per episode by season 9. To this day, they each pocket around $20 million a year in royalties. Meanwhile, Living Single, the trailblazer that premiered a year earlier, faced a starkly different fate. Across 5 seasons and 118 episodes from 1993 to 1998, the sitcom maintained solid ratings of 8 to 10 million viewers per episode, an impressive achievement for an all-black cast in the 1990s. Yet instead of being elevated, Living Single was neglected. No massive marketing campaigns, no global distribution push, no streaming platform bidding wars. Cast salaries were only a fraction of what the Friends stars received, and after the show ended, almost none of the cast ascended to global stardom. The series itself wasn't even widely reissued or snapped up by Netflix or HBO Max for billion-dollar streaming deals the way Friends was. The contrast could not be starker. On one side, Friends stood as a cultural monument and commercial juggernaut worth billions. On the other, Living Single, the originator of the New York friend group sitcom formula, was confined to the memory of the black community, never given the chance to shine on the same scale. Critics have called it a case of historical whitewashing. The original idea belonged to a black sitcom, but only when recast with white faces was it celebrated worldwide, while the pioneering version was left to be forgotten. If the Friends versus Living Single debate exposed Hollywood's injustice, then Heavy D's funeral drove home another painful truth. The friendships we see on screen and the ones that exist in real life are sometimes separated by an unbridgeable gap. Audiences often romanticize the relationships between artists, believing they are truly a family as portrayed on screen. But that funeral revealed a different reality. Those friendships can be an illusion maintained for the sake of work and for the audience, but not always present in real life. More than 3 decades after Living Single first aired, the pioneering Black sitcom's legendary cast has long gone their separate ways, each carrying a story of their own, filled with brilliance, heartbreak, and unexpected turns. The Living Single cast and their lives. Today, at the center still stands Queen Latifah, the power queen of Hollywood. After her success as Khadijah James, she went on to build a rare, multifaceted career singer, actress, and producer. Her net worth is now estimated at around $70 million, making her one of the wealthiest and most influential artists of her generation. Yet what fascinates the public even more is her private life. Latifah rarely speaks about family, but she has recently appeared publicly with her son Rebel and her longtime partner Ebony Nichols. Kim Fields, once a famous child star, has proven herself not only on screen but also behind the camera after playing the glamorous